Welcome back to College Football 26, episode 33. Following one of our best seasons on record, going 13-2, making the playoff. We're on to players leaving. The expectation was a shorter list this time, but Vegher, projected second round pick, the sophomore quarterback, fantastic. Zero chance. We have absolutely no chance of retaining him. The other losses are minor, but our soon-to-be senior quarterback behind him doesn't realize that there's a vacancy coming up. And in addition to those four, we have a lot of mid-80s players graduating, an 88 left guard, an 89 wide receiver, and two more guys projected for the draft in corner Bada at 90 and right tackle Wake at 93. The good news is the 3 to 4 guys getting drafted yearly is suddenly raising our individual grade for recruits when it comes to pro potential, as it takes drafted players to make that happen, to get that recognition out there. And there is our confirmation of 3 drafted players. Vegher going in the second round as a sophomore. Sad to see him leave so early when he was so good. He set so many records for us. It's going to be a difficult replacement, but getting 3 drafted guys is always a good thing. Week 1 of off-season recruiting. You may remember that last season I pushed into a new way of recruiting, and it was pretty successful. I didn't go after 3-star recruits at all, with only a couple of exceptions kind of late in the process. We focused entirely on those 4 or 5-star guys. Now, we were on target for maybe 3 5-star guys, and they've all fallen through. The last of them just slipping away from us as actually a deal breaker situation, because it was a middle linebacker. I lost a second one for the same reason. Pro potential just now, because we had a middle linebacker drafted in recent years, and now we haven't. But we've already secured 7 4-star high school recruits, make that 8. We are close to another, though we certainly have a battle with Arkansas on this one. And then after that, kind of into that next tier, where a few of these guys are pretty secure. We've got, looks like 5 guys well under our control at this stage that I'm, at least at the moment, not even looking at spending hours on. Then we have the few that aren't quite as secure. There is competition, or we're not that far ahead, so I'd like to spend some hours on those, but that's 17 high school recruits, with 14 of those being 4 stars. Then we get into the transfer market from 18 to 35, with these all being, whatever grade level, and all being 4 stars, except for it's to 34, not to 35, because at 35, after I've really exhausted kind of that 4-star recruitable, and we're on the list for every single one of those guys, so none of those are ones that we are not on a list for. That gives us a real advantage. First on a lot of them, second, near the top, can compete. Have to spend the hours. We have 630 left after offering out these scholarships. The last guy being a 3-star fullback, just to fill in, so we have that blocker in the 2-back system that we occasionally run. I will have to spend at least a little bit of time, as he is the only one who does not have us on his list. But all we need to do is get into that list. I'm not too worried about whether we get this guy or not. In fact, his recruit rating is the lowest of the 35 we're after. Going to wrap up off-season recruiting. 34 of 35 look pretty good. 1 is very close. There is a small chance for the last half dozen, as they are late offers, that there could be competition, but I've got a lot of hours to be able to put into them, meaning there's a very good chance that even if somebody else shows up at the last second, we're going to get them anyway. So I would expect we're going to get 32, 33, or 34. I would hope to get that last one, but it's not looking great, but it's too close to say no for a 4-star recruit. The class is definitely going to be made up mostly of 4 stars, both at the high school level and at the transfer level. Though that last set, the last 6 to 8 guys were 3-star transfer recruits, but a lot of those were going into senior year, so they're guys that could immediately step in, being at their best and can contribute, and we move on, in a season. This easily has the potential to be our best class that we've ever had. So I'm really looking forward to how that turns out here in just a moment. So, National Signing Day, and I'm very hopeful. I did see that I lost the one. BYU got him over us, and it was actually only a 3-star, but it was at a position that we were struggling to find much quality at. So, luckily, I did go down to find somebody extra at the end of the list. So, let's hope we get their signature, as we did not get this one. BYU had a week 4 visit. We had moved. They were ahead after we were ahead after week 1. They were ahead after week 2. We figured out enough. We caught up on week 2. Week 3, we got ahead of them as we were pitching the right thing. Week 4, though, the visit was enough to flip him. But again, only a 3-star guy. And so far, so good. Through 30. Oh, there's one. One more that we lost. But that was the extra linebacker. So the extra outside linebacker. So both guys that we missed, the 33 out of 35, right? The 2 guys we missed were both outside linebackers. So that one does hurt a little bit. We'll be a little short of where we wanted to be with that one. But, picking up the extra free safeties at the end and whatnot, very, very helpful. And a lot of these guys at this tail end are transfers of underclassmen. So guys for the future that are already partway along their progression tracks. So it wasn't enough to crack the top 5, but for the first time, we have more 4-stars than 3-stars. Big thing was just the absence of a 5-star this year. Again, there was like 3 guys, and all 3 didn't pan out for us in the end. That hurt our overall rating. Otherwise, we would have been in the top 10 comfortably, maybe a top 5. But fantastic progress that more than half the recruits that we brought in ended up being of the 4-star variety, and we still nearly had a full class with 33 guys. Highest rated, Batamosi, a center, 4-star center, left guard next to him, middle linebacker, right edge, and then a wide receiver. Normally we are stacked with wide receiver, and then it drops off pretty quickly. Not this year. There's a lot of good, talented guys that we brought in. Let's just hope that we can that they offer us the retooling that we need. We are now at such a state that every year we're losing a good set of players, but we've got a good set coming in their place. Update on those grades: we now have 4 of the B+ or better variety and a couple of C's. We're definitely making some progress. And of course, that extra half-star of prestige will make a big difference. It did just now during the off-season recruiting, and it certainly will this next year. First time in, forever. No athletes in this class, mostly because those have been the 3-star kind of guys that we grab. And we didn't go after the 3-star guys this year. So outside of maybe shifting a linebacker over from middle to outside, we seem pretty set. But Trammer, transfer coming in as a 79 overall, will easily hit into the 80s. We also have Skaggs, the freshman behind him, who's already a 75. So between them, we'll be okay at quarterback, but we're definitely not going to have a 90+ this year. But 3 strong halfbacks, all upperclassmen though, but there is some talent behind them. Fullback has improved a lot, better for the blocking in the coming year. In fact, that's going to be the best we've ever had. There's already 2 90s+ receivers. They're just juniors. If one of them holds out and waits another year, we're going to be in good shape. But there's quality behind them too. Oh, there's 3. Oh, that's an 82 overall. I'm looking at a speed of 90. 3 good freshmen, 75, 75, 73. Tight end. 3 guys going into senior year. That's going to be a little bit tougher, but there's definitely some quality there. And depth. Left tackle. Left guard. Center. Right guard, I've got to shift some guys over, but there's definitely some quality. 376s behind that 89. Right tackle, same sort of thing. We're going to be good on the offensive line. Left edge, we're going to need some really good development from one of those 2 guys, unless we have something here, and we do. So we're going to have 2 very good edge rushers with depth behind them. And defensive tackle already has 3 guys in the 80s. Yeah, there's your strong side. A little thin right now, but fine otherwise. Middle, it's not as deep as I thought. We can definitely shift one guy over to Sam to even that out, and they will certainly be okay, especially with development. Corner looks good. 94 already, coming back for senior year. Free safety, we'll have to move a couple guys over to strong safety, but yeah, team looks good. Team looks good. Still firmly believe that a good offensive line is the backbone to a successful team. So we're going to spend 12 points for our first upgrade in the talent developer category, which is a bonus XP for the offensive lineman when a fellow offensive lineman is drafted. And of course, you have a higher opportunity of that actually happening because you're going across 5 positions. So there's more guys, there's more opportunities that one of them gets drafted, but then they all benefit from it. And our training development for the year: left tackle Hennessy up to a 96, our corner up to a 95, our wide receiver up to a 94, right guard to a 93, a wide receiver to a 93, a right edge to a 91. Our center has made some improvements, but it looks like he was about to max out, so he stays the same, but it is senior year and he's already a 90 plus. We got a halfback going into 91 territory, left guard at 91, another halfback at 91, so we're going to have dual threats in the backfield. Middle linebacker stays at a 90, senior year for him though, and then we get into the 80s. That was a lot of guys in the 90s, and there's fewer in the 80s this year, but I think that's because we've shifted guys from the high 80s into the low 90s compared to other seasons. Now we get into the 70s and the younger guys out there. A couple not improving much, but I'm guessing that's just because this was probably a 3-star bust or something like that, topping out a 76. Senior redshirt, we were still getting a lot of 3-star guys back when he would have been coming in. In fact, we weren't getting hardly any 4-star guys back then, so almost certainly that's a 3-star bust. But now we're starting to get into those freshmen making huge gains, +9 for this right guard. Oof, now that's rough. A redshirt freshman who did not improve. There's only 4 players on the roster in the 60s through development, all freshmen. Redshirt freshman. 13th in the preseason rankings with a flat 96 overall. Our non-conference games for the year, we finally have week 0 open for the first time since moving to the American Conference, and then we open up with FCS Northwest before getting into a road game against Marshall, who were 11-2 last season, so actually a really good team, but they were unranked with that 11-2. And then we traveled to Boston College. So 2 non-conference road games against 2 +500 record sides that aren't exactly known for being good, but they were good last year. Finally, our conference schedule is open a little bit with our first game in week 4. All 4 home games to open the season. Not very balanced. It's frustrating that that's a common feature of this game, is unbalanced schedules. But we do have an open week in 8 before a home game against Missouri, who were a +500 side a year ago, and then we've got all those road games back to back to back to back. But no Tulane on the calendar once again. East Carolina 8-5 was the only winning record in the road games of the conference schedule, though Texas San Antonio did make a bowl game before losing that to drop below 500. Non-conference games into the schedule, but we are not perfect. We beat FCS Northwest quite comfortably. We beat Marshall on the road fairly comfortably, 54-36. But Boston College has knocked us off. They are a perfect 3-0 at this point, but it was 45-44, and it was on the road, so we were taking a bit of a loss, and they seem to be really good this year. Disappointing that we couldn't come away with it when it was really that close. We had already been up into the top 10 after a good preseason ranking, but that brings us down to 20th. Still ranked, though. They like us quite a bit, considering that we've lost one of our first 3 games. Now we begin the home slate for the conference schedule. We should be winning the next 5, you would think. There's really only one decent team in the 5, or in the first 4 anyway. 3 games into the conference slate, all at home, all wins. USF, Temple, and UAB have been knocked off. The offense, not perfect, but good. 35 plus every game. Defense, not perfect, but good. 30 or less every game. Meanwhile, we're back up to 12th in the rankings at 5-1 overall. First recruit of the year is a left edge, 4-star battle. Same week, we're also getting a tight end, Ibarra, 4 stars. Third recruit, center, Griffin, 4 stars. And quarterback, Slater, 4 stars. Biggest matchup of the season so far is Missouri coming to us. It's our last home game of the year, so it's the last chance for visits. It's going to be some key ones. There's some recruits on that balance, a little back and forth. We had been ahead, but they just had the visits a week ago or the week before for a couple of recruits, so they're slightly ahead of us right now. We are in some recruiting battles, so there is some behind the scenes going on that makes this Missouri game important to win. It's also our first ranked opponent in a while, outside of conference championship. They're only 20th though, despite being 6-1, 3-1 in conference. We are 6-1 as well. We are the favorites here. We are at home. We should win, but it's certainly not a given. So we beat Missouri 30-17. They fall out of the rankings completely, and our rank drops. We go from 10th down to 11th after a top 25 victory. Right. But now we begin our road slate with Tulsa, who's currently 4-4, Florida Atlantic 5-4, East Carolina at 6-3, and Texas San Antonio, who's been the better team in the one of the better teams in the conference, 3rd, 4th, 5th best each season. Currently only 3-6, struggling this year. But looks like none of these games are going to be particularly easy. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we go 3-1 through this stretch. Hopefully not 2-2, but it's possible. Commit Carney, that's good. That was a close one. Defensive tackle. Tramer, with a really good offensive line and some very good receiving options, has set the single game passing yards record with our latest win, I believe, at Tulsa. Wasn't even the offensive player of the week, as Adigbo was, along with a cornerback for the defensive player. Wide receiver, 4-star, Stork, committed. Also, cornerback De La Rosa, 4 stars. It's frustrating when you have a massive lead over somebody. You hit the commit bar. They're not even in the top 3 category, but it still sends you into a recruiting battle. They gained an enormous amount of ground. I don't know how we're going to have any chance of winning this one. We're already in the hard sell with good ratings. There's just coaching bonuses that put it higher, and there's not much we can do. We've got really good grades on the standard bearer hard sell. We're maxing it out. We can't get more. They've never even done a visit. It's not like they've used that to get ahead of us on this guy. It's just some coaching bonuses. Toughest match remaining of the regular season, though there's only a couple left, because we are 9-1, 8th in the country, but East Carolina 7-3, 5-2 in the conference. Only a 72 overall. So with an 86-ish on the knockdown for being on the road, we should still be favorites here. So far, of the 4 road games, we've made it through the first 2 unscathed. Digbo has set the single-season rushing touchdowns record within the game. We got the win, by the way. Despite being perfect in the conference, we still might not take the regular season title, as Tulane and ourselves are both 10-1, both 7-0 in conference. They are only an 85 this year, where we're a 96. We should be the better team, but we've done more on offense. We've done a lot less on defense. They've been very effective, just giving up. Wait, hold on. No, we've been much better on offense. I was looking at differential. Points against. We've given up, 69 more than they have. So a fair bit, but we've scored close to 200 more than they have. So we've been very, very effective. Both teams with 1 loss on the road. Who gets the home field advantage for the conference title game is going to have a big bonus, and it looks like that could be Tulane. If you take 10 points off of us, it's anybody's game. Almost a 50-50 matchup. We've got 1 more game to get through, but guaranteed it's us versus Tulane for the conference title this year, as even if both of us lose, nobody's going to get over the top of us, with Memphis and Temple at 2 games behind. Digbo set both the single and career rushing touchdown record this season. I think it's only his 2nd year in the program, so that's a lot of touchdowns. Thad Ali also set the career receiving yard record. He has been in the program at least for a while. Also the career reception record. And we move up a spot to 7th. Tulane stays 6th. That is one heck of a conference championship game. Obviously, the winner is going into the playoff. Will the loser as well? There's a pretty decent chance of that, considering the ranking. You're not going to be punished too much for losing a conference championship against a top 7 opponent. So here by the end of the season, before we head into the off-season portion, right, we still have a conference game. We still have bowl games and playoffs where a lot of things happen automatically on the recruitment front. We're at 26 targets. 1 was an automatic 3-star, so we were number 1 on his list. And not the greatest ranking, but we needed a middle linebacker. So I got as low as 787 to find somebody who was actually interested in us and had no offers. I had been at about 20 recruits, and then saw that number dwindle down a little bit. 18, 16, eventually 14, as we lost a lot of close battles. So we lost about 6 close battles where we nearly had them 4 and 5-star kind of guys. I think we only targeted 1 5-star this year, and we lost out on him as one of those 6. But as that list thinned down, I had the number, half a dozen 3-stars plus a couple others. The couple others, there was competition. Wasn't interested, so I let them go. For the other half a dozen, we are well on our way to getting their signatures. And then I had hours left over when things thinned out enough, and so we ended up adding another half a dozen guys, including the go get 'em. There was a punter, there was a fullback. I think, we still got the kicker, the punter, the fullback, those end of your list kind of recruits that obviously go down into the 3-star, because there isn't such thing as a 4 or 5-star in those categories. And so we got our guys, and all of a sudden we find ourselves with 23 very much in good shape. Well, I guess 3 of those we're just starting to put hours into, so 20 of them in very good shape. Yeah, and starting to put hours into the others before we even hit off season, so it's going to give them a real advantage before we go into that mode. And we're looking pretty good for potentially all 26 at this point. We are done with battles for the time being. However, battles keep occurring when I have good healthy head starts, and other coaches just have those bonuses that we don't have. Takes a lot of levels And it takes a lot of success to get those levels at this stage. Each level takes a really, really long time to acquire for us right now without major good things happening, like winning a championship, drafting a bunch of guys in the first round, etc., etc. That's also what's holding us back from getting those recruits to do that. Like, we've slowly built this program into a near 99, a 96 this year. Absolutely incredible, and all the while with a kind of weak quarterback, but he's surrounded by so much talent that he's able to get the time and has enough skill to get the results. But he's got, an incredible team around him, so our weakest position being at quarterback isn't so weak. But it's going to be, at this stage, it looks like it's going to be really easy to go into the transfer market and target 10 guys and have a legit shot at getting all of them. At least getting 25 of 26. I forgot that we are on our way to a recruiting battle with Alabama, which means, we're not going to win this one. Luckily, we've already got a good tight end in the class. Statistically, we were better in every way. Both teams are 8-0 in conference, but Tulane gets to host. For whatever reason, they get to host. Is it because they're ranked 6th and we're ranked 7th? Possibly. That's purely down to prestige, because obviously we are the better team. We scored a lot more points. We didn't give up fewer, but we had a much better point differential than they did. Everything suggests that we are the stronger team, at least by a little bit, except for the ranking. So whether that's the tiebreak or just coin flip, because we had no head-to-head this season. Obviously we didn't, because we're both 8-0. It certainly is going to make it a hell of a lot tougher to come away with this one. I think it is going to come down to virtually a coin flip. It honestly could go either way. Just going with fingers crossed that we're able to get an at-large if we don't get the victory. Or really, fingers crossed that they get a coin flip or get the at-large, assuming that we're able to beat them. We've secured a recruit this week, 3-star, first 3-star of the class, right edge Jordan. And we are the champions of the American Football Conference. Holy crap. Yes. Clap National Player of the Week with 2 interceptions. Ali, the offensive player of the week, at least for the conference. 7 catches, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns. Final score was 31-21. Defense goes big. Tulane only drops to 10th in the rankings. They are probably going to get that at large. We're number 2. We are number 2 in the rankings. 1 spot off the top step. We've never been there before. This is our highest ever rank. And at 2, we're going to get a bye in the first round. And it's BYU at 1. Clemson at 3. My alma mater, Oregon at 4. Ooh, what a difference a year makes. Ohio State sneaking into that top 12, though, scares the crap out of me, because I think they would be on path to potentially play us. It would be Texas or Ohio State. How did we get that mess? No, wait, that would be 4. Hold on. That would be the Clemson, Colorado, or Tulane. A rematch. Oh, crap. Commit, 3-star left tackle. Heisman, quarterback out of Clemson. 4,600 yards, 56 touchdowns on 72% completion percentage. That's incredible. That's a great season right there. We've got another Doak Walker winner. Adigbo, 1,300 yards. And the Paycom Jim Thorpe award. Best DB in the nation, our strong safety with 3 interceptions, 61 tackles, 10 pass deflections. Let's see how closely the bracket fits. And not completely, because Georgia is going to get an automatic bid, even though they were only ranked 14th in the country. That's crazy that's your automatic conference winner coming out of 14th, right? They're going to take on USC. Michigan's taking on Pitt. Ohio State is taking on Texas, but it is Clemson that they are matched up with. And I was correct. It's Colorado. It's Tulane. We get the winner of that matchup. And it is a rematch. Tulane has beaten Colorado. We're at the Fiesta Bowl for this one. It's so disappointing, though, that we have to play on neutral territory in this round. It should be a home game. We never got to play Tulane at home. We beat them on the road. Now we have to beat them in neutral territory a second time. That's going to be so difficult. But really, we should be favorites. We took some injuries. Our rating's going to drop to a 94, but we play on. We are the quarterfinal playoff game winner. Now, we've won a couple playoff games before, but it wasn't the quarterfinal. That is our first quarterfinal victory. We are into the semis. We are one of the final 4 teams in the nation. And we're going to take on Clemson at the Rose Bowl. Now we're looking at a hard matchup. They're probably a 99. They're going to be the favorites on this one. Yeah, full-on 99s cross-board for Clemson. Let's see what happened with the injuries. And that last game, for that matter. 27-20, another 7-point victory. Another touchdown victory over Tulane. We had the extra field goal the last time. Tough on them to lose to us twice, but this is going to be so big for our prestige. I mean, we should be at least gaining a half star this year, even if we lose to Clemson in the coming game. Looking at the injury report, it's Dell Robinson, the free safety, the only one going down. For some reason, we've been reevaluated as a 94 on offense because we're going against a better team. They're a 99, so how do we compare to a 99? They drop us to a 94? I don't know if that's the case. Robinson is certainly a miss, but 39 tackles, 0 interceptions, 3 pass deflections, has started all 13 games. Yeah, definitely going to be a miss. What do we have to back him up? Not a big drop-off. An 85 down to an 83 with 2 80s behind that. At strong safety, it's an 84. At corner, a 97 and multiple 80s. Will, 84. Mike, 91 and a couple of 80s. Sam, 2 84s. D-line, multiple high 80s. What's going on here? Shitu has been... Okay, we need to fix this. They flipped our guys. I flipped Shitu from right edge to left preseason. And somewhere along the line, we've gotten all sorts of out of whack here. Sturm should be starting on that right edge, actually. We've definitely taken some injuries to the line. Though it wasn't showing anybody on the injury report, was it? Alright, depth chart looks good. They still have us rated as a 94. Clemson, it's going to be a tough game, but certainly not impossible. And we are out. We're going to finish in the top 4 in the country this year, but we're out in the semis. Oh, that is so painful. Clemson has knocked us out of the park. They hit a home run in this one. It was 45-10. We absolutely got hammered. It's going to be Clemson versus USC, who upset the number 1 team in the country. Not in the way that we got upset, though. 42-35. I think that pretty much guarantees that we will be 4th because BYU also lost. They'll almost certainly be ahead of us, and they had a better game, too. USC has won, so Clemson did not get the victory. It was 28-24. USC, the 2044 national champion. We're going to do the offensive line whisperer. 12 points. Freshman and sophomore progress faster for offensive linemen. By the way, that program builder, we're a little bit closer now. We've won our 3rd playoff game. We don't get a freebie for the bye round. No idea how they liked us more than BYU. But it's USC, national champion Clemson, losing that game, taking number 2. We take number 3 in the rankings. BYU was a 92 overall on 4 stars. First in the Big 12. Not sure why they jumped us over them as we played pretty poor in that semifinal, but Texas 5, Oregon 6. We just finished a season ranked 3rd in the nation. We are getting close, folks. We are getting close. That should be worth at least a half a star to bring us up to 3.5. It didn't change. We're out of players leaving. I think I should have already seen the difference in our stars this time, and there's a lot of guys leaving because there's quite a few wanting to go to the NFL. We got 3 juniors, a left tackle and 2 wide receivers, projected to go pretty dang early. This left tackle, a first rounder, and I can see why, right? 96 overall already, and still a year to go. There's no chance on most of these guys, low or very low. Ouch, 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 and more ouch. Hey! Third round draft pick, wide receiver Scioli is decided to stay. And our last guy, freshman quarterback Herrera, who I would expect is going to develop significantly going into next year. As for the senior class, of course, lots of 80s. So far, the best a senior defensive tackle at 86, tight end at 87, a free safety at 86, and then here's some big ones. Diablo, true senior. We didn't redshirt him. 96 overall corner. First round draft pick coming for him. 93 halfback. Iadigbo projected to go in the 4th round. We've got a right guard projected in the 3rd round. Another 90 at tight end. A right edge at 91 and 7th round. There is so much talent. So many guys headed for the draft. Another 4th round center, left guard. Wow. Well, that was certainly a disappointing finish to the season. Right, we go to the semifinal. We finish the year ranked 3rd in the nation and don't pick up more prestige. I'm assuming under the hood, we gained a lot. I'm assuming under the hood, we had just made 3 stars last season, and now we are probably this close to 3.5. As there's some sort of level up scale the same way there is with coaching, and I'm assuming that we made 95% of the progress from a sliver above to a sliver below the next. But that's still disappointing. That could have been a half-star or better improvement to finish in the top 4 in the country, especially from where we started as a 3-star program. You should get more for being in the top 4. That's not the first time we've come across something like that in this game, though, and we continue to climb. On we rise. We certainly got close this year, and we're going to return a lot of guys. However, that's a whole lot of players going into the draft, a whole lot of talent going into the draft. So we'll see what we have soon enough. We'll be lucky to stay at that 94, 95-ish territory, but we certainly have some good recruits on their way in to fill those spaces, and there's been very good recruits the last couple of years to push us towards this eventual 99 that will make us a contender. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.